It's truly challenging to overcome a feeling of utmost anxiety when we discuss timepieces that look and feel like watches for thousands of dollars. Yet, in reality, they cost as low as $40. Insanity, yet pleasant and so yearned for in this world of expensive everything. Today we'll be looking at 5 Pagani Design watches that look like utmost luxury, and all of them cost between $40 and $60. I want to be going through these 5 in a certain level of detail, but there are comprehensive reviews per each watch, and I'll be leaving the links to those reviews in the description below the video. Also, I'll be leaving the affiliate links to the listings of these watches also in the description below the video. So these watches feature sapphire crystal, automatic movements, there are some chronographs, there are exciting pieces in this luxurious collection. Anyway, without further ado, let's get in and talk about these 5 watches. Let's do it. Let's kick off with the PD YS005. This is the version 3 with no date. It's an automatic 200-meter water-resistant diver watch, and it gathers its inspiration from an Omega heritage diver, or specifically the Seamaster 300. Thankfully, the version 3 we have today omits the date window, just the symmetrical open dial that is balanced and perfect as it is. Notice the ceramic bezel, it's thin yet notchy, drawing close to the case, while the boxy sapphire crystal is pronounced, just a millimeter above it. The dome of the crystal is minimal, and the elegantly protruding glass above the bezel does not inspire a vintage look, rather sporty and very assertive. In regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 40.8 millimeters, a lug-to-lug length of 47.7 millimeters, a weight of 160 grams, a height of 12.7, and a lug width of 20 millimeters. The bracelet actually tapers down to 18 at the clasp. Gazing down at the watch, you see a robust and nimble piece that acts like a true luxury piece, humble yet stylish, and feels effortlessly expensive. The tall and flat flank is finely brushed, the strokes are consistent, the full length of the arching flank, lug to lug. The bracelet is another win with a 3-link design, screw pins, and a milled and signed double pusher clasp. The inverted end links keep the lug-to-lug length down at just 47 millimeters. In terms of the movement, we get the NH35, a Japanese self-winding automatic movement, 24 joules, magic lever, 21,600 beats per hour, and 42 hours of power reserve. For number 2, we come face to face with the Pagani Design PD1782. In my personal opinion, this is an objectively beautiful watch. What I particularly like about the PD1782 is that it pays tribute to a watch that is very famous, but still it's not as much out there as the Rolexes or Omegas of this world. So this is the Bucherer Chronograph, and you can pick up the original and it will set you back 3,000 to 4,000 if you do pick it up in a good condition, because production of this watch has ended a number of years back. Or you can just pay $60 and pick up this brand new 1782. The elongated, almost oval case shape is nostalgic of an era long gone. Brushed and polished surfaces create unique light play effects. The domed sapphire crystal is seamlessly integrated into the polished fixed bezel. We get a functional mecha quartz chronograph with a sweeping seconds hand, 3 subdials and a tachymeter scale, screw and crown and case back. My favorite spec are the half links on this stainless steel bracelet. With regards to the dimensions, we get a case width of 40 millimeters, a lug-to-lug length of 47.2, a height of 12.8, and a lug width of 20 millimeters, tapering down to 18 at the clasp. The weight on this watch is 140 grams before removing any links to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. Gazing down at the watch, it seems like the circular watch is squeezed on the flanks to stretch it into a slightly tonneau shape, with the barrel curved sides resembling an oval. That in itself is designed from the latter half of the 20th century racing chronos. As for the movement, the PD1782 features VK63 for the sweeping seconds hand, mimicking an automatic fluid push around the dial circumference. So this is a $60 stunner. For number 3, we've got the perfect sweet spot watch, a homage for the vintage-inspired and downsized Longines Spirit 37mm. The Pagani Design PD1717 is an evocation of the past, a 38mm timepiece with a retro feel, but also a perfectly fine daily beater, meant to attract the connoisseurs with the family budgets in mind. The air of nostalgia and aviation heritage is still lingering, yet the contemporary watch styling overpowers. For $55 we get sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, bright and relatively long C3 lume, the screw-down case back and screw and crown are a given. 200 meters of water resistance, and of course a bracelet that is 316L stainless steel. And this is an automatic powered by Seiko NH35. In regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 38mm, a lug-to-lug length of 46.2, a height of 13mm, a lug width of 20mm, and the bracelet tapers down to 18 at the clasp. The weight is 145 grams before removing any links to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. Even with the relatively modest dimensions, the watch wears larger on the wrist. The case is lean with a fluid look and interesting angled facets. The case shows a succession of brushed surfaces. On the sides, the flat flanks receive a laterally and straight brush stroke, yet the lug hoods are brushed in a circular manner. The sapphire crystal on top is slightly domed and coated with multiple layers of anti-reflective treatment. This explains the crystal clear legibility and readability of the dial. The dial is reached via shallow rehaut. The deep aqua blue is a unique blue hue, which once again points to the luxurious nature of the watch. There is a prominent sunburst effect, shooting rays outwards from the pinions. At number 4, let's take a look at the 37mm Ranger Homage, and it's all that and more. The PD1751 is a special watch, featuring a boxed sapphire crystal to protect the enamel dial, as well as a sapphire crystal exhibition back. So this watch, which costs $52, $53, actually gets a sapphire sandwich. So it gets a sapphire crystal on top as well as the sapphire crystal exhibition case back. And on top of that, it also gets an enamel dial. This is absolutely insane for such a low price to get so much real premiality. Let's keep going. Add the dependability of a Japanese automatic movement, 200 meters of water resistance, and a stainless steel case and bracelet. With regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 37mm, a lug-to-lug length of 43.5, a height of 13.2, and a lug width of 20mm. It tapers down to 16 at the clasp. We get a weight of 140 grams here. The watch strikes the perfect balance between a robust daily wear and a dress-up watch, all due to the mixture of brushed and polished surfaces, fluid curves, and tight composure. The wide stance of the brushed lug hoods offer a squarish appearance, so reminiscent of the original inspiration. You will also appreciate the lugs are short, yet they end with an elegant drop-off. The bracelet female end links integrate with the head mostly in a seamless fashion. I cannot see any contrasting brushing strokes between the lug hoods and the bracelet links. On the underside, we have the sapphire crystal exhibition back. Another significant point of interest is the boxed sapphire crystal on top of the dial. I'm surprised with the clarity of this crystal. Of course, the anti-reflective coating plays part here too. Edge distortions are minimal, just enough to create some unique visual signals, but not affecting legibility nor readability for the time. As for the movement, we get Seiko's NH35, with 24 joules and 42 hours of power reserve. For number 5, we'll be talking about the PD1645, and it serves us with a self-winding automatic movement by Seiko. It also gets sapphire crystal and finally a sapphire crystal Cyclops. It's a beautiful baby blue sunburst dial color. The pastel tone is so subtle and elegant, beating the louder and attention-grabbing colors. It gets a 41mm case diameter, and it's in line with the original, allowing for more prominent presence, yet still compact for the more slender wrists. We get a stainless steel case and bracelet, a screw-down exhibition case back, and a screw and crown. In regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 41mm, a lug-to-lug length of 54mm, a height of 11.3 without the Cyclops, 12.5 with it, and a lug width of 20mm. The bracelet actually tapers down to 16 at the clasp. The weight on the watch is 150 grams. The lug-to-lug length could be shorter, no doubt. The protruding links are not doing any favors to the timepiece. Yet, if we take a look at how the watch sits on my relatively slender 6.5-inch wrist, there are no overhang issues. The downward pointing lugs and the pivoting end links provide for a snug fit on the more slender wrists. Notice how the handsome Jubilee-style bracelet drapes my wrist, following the wrist contours for a very comfortable fit. Where the bracelet lacks in tolerances, it makes up for it with a signed folding clasp. The wing is milled as well, the security latch is refined and convenient to use, the locking is performed with a solid and sincere thumb. The central links are polished and complement the polished case and fluted bezel of the watch. Gazing down at the watch, we see the prominent and distinctive case shape. The fluted bezel with its intricate light play overhangs the north and south end links ever so slightly, but there is no bezel lip overhang on the flanks, and as a result the case design looks elegant and very lean. So here we are, these 5 watches, $40 to $60, not expensive at all, but they are built beautifully. The refinement is more than decent. I can actually say that some of these watches have excellent refinement, specifically the PD1782, that's a wowzer. The 1645 at number 5, that's a top-notch watch. It looks amazing. If we talk about the Ranger Homage, the PD1751, well, that's a stunner. An enamel dial, on top of that, a sapphire sandwich. The PD1717, wowzers. That sizing is so perfect. That sunburst effect, the boxy sapphire crystal. It's an amazing watch. Now, of course, on this review, I was taking a look at the PD1717 version 1 with the shorter hands, but the version 2, which is sold now widely at the same price point, has the longer hands, and that just looks better. So I'll be leaving the links to all of these watches in the description below the video. Do check them out if you found any of these pieces interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.